Getting started here. We're in the classroom, recording this as we go through it. Okay, so let's Poli Sci review. I'm going through the test bank one. I'm going kind of backwards a little bit, doing the second half of it. Let's go through that. All right, got a bunch of questions. You may not be able to read them. I squeezed it in so I can have it up online. Okay. Ethnic strife in the former Soviet regions reflects the legacy of Soviet policy of definitely neglect of religion would probably be the best answer for this. Meaning that in former regions, well, actually, I don't know. I don't like a lot of these answers. But let me put it this way. Maybe this is just a good overall question. Meaning, here's what I would want you to know for this question. So I think maybe the best answer for this is that they did try and divide people up and diminish them. But here's what I would say. I'm not going to maybe use it this way. Here's where I would make a question out of this. And you can even just make notes of this, and that's fine even for the answer there. They were not good about dealing with different cultures. They tended to want to diminish it, meaning make activities that were cultural more or less illegal. And they did move people around based off of cultural background. And even today, even though the Soviet Union might be multicultural, there's still an attitude that's very negative towards cultural differences. Okay, so I would just be aware of that, okay? And it is a multinational state. It's not mainly Russia. In fact, there's a lot of different nationalities represented there. It's just that they are, I would say that they're still, Putin is a dictator, and he probably doesn't really listen to the differences. Okay, number 6. In the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, the government in 1991 proclaimed a condition for a judge to be appointed to the country's Islamic courts would be to wear, okay, it's Islam. So therefore, what would go along with the custom to make someone seem like they're an elder and important and wise? A beard, right? So that would make sense. Culturally, a beard is a sign of maturity. That's at least, I mean, that's one reason. And if you're a judge, you're supposed to be intelligent. There's, that goes along with it. Which of the following is not generally a characteristic of an ethnic religion? Found in a particular culture? No, that would be true. Always polytheistic? No. Okay. Spatially concentrated? Yes, that's normal, except Judaism is not. Does not seek outside converts? Yes, that's always true of ethnic religions. They tend not to seek outside converts. All right. Number 10, the faith that is most widely dispersed over the world. The most widely dispersed is Christianity. Islam is up there, but Christianity is probably even more widely dispersed. A lot of that's due to colonization. Buddhism is unusual, and that's universal, but mainly in one area. Islam is more dominant in northern, okay, if it's northern, but traditional religions in the south, we just went over this. Traditional, animist, maybe even Christian mixed in there too, in the south. Sudan. But now Sudan no longer exists, it's South Sudan. So maybe this is a little antiquated as a question. It's no longer the country of Sudan, South and North Sudan. One of the unique characteristics of Hinduism is that it is so young, simple. That's a horrible word to use ever for anything. Don't say simple. It's not young. It's got some of the oldest texts of any religion around. Emerged without a prophet, a book of scriptures, and without evolving bureaucratic structure. Has very few followers. Okay, let me tell you something. Hinduism does not have one set prophet, right? But it has a large number of people. It does not have a large bureaucracy, so yes, letter C. That's also what helped to make it go big, though, because a lot of people could convert to it without much hindrance, right? Early on. Now it does not seek converts as an ethnic religion. All right, next. The fundamental doctrine of the Hindu faith is karma, monotheism, a detailed book of scripture, a violent theology. I don't like this question. Yeah, I do think karma. But the reason I don't like the detailed book of scripture is because you have the Vedas, and so I don't like that. I would not put this question as both. Yeah, I think 15 is one I would just cross out. I don't like this. The Blee Book has got some bad questions. Sikhism is a small compromise religion that arose between Hinduism and Islam. Isn't it Islam? Yeah. So it's Hinduism and Islam. I don't teach about that much about Sikhism anymore, and so therefore I'm a little weak on this. But I believe it is Hinduism and Islam. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Send me an email. But I'm 99% certain. Okay. Hinduism has not spread by expansion diffusion in modern times, but at one time it did spread by relocation diffusion. Notice it said modern times there. It did spread by relocation diffusion as a result of, okay, yeah, this is true, letter A. Remember that we mentioned that there were Hindus in northern South America, and that's because of colonial period. They were contract workers. Yeah, in modern times, yes. Some of the other ones I don't like. I think they're too, like forced relocation by Islamic invaders. That's partially true. I don't like that. But anyway, I'll make sure to eliminate that as a possible answer. But transportation of Indian workers, that happened during the colonial times. I'll do something to make letter C more obviously false. Okay. Buddhism has its source in, what country did Buddhism start? India. Yeah. It's largely not there now, but it was at one time. I could ask you a question like that, just especially like what if I were to ask you what religion is no longer dominant in its place of origin? That's a good example. There might be others. Buddhism thrives in all the areas listed below except Sri Lanka. Yeah, Nepal and Tibet. Yes. Korea. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's kind of the same thing. India is the one that's a no, even though it was founded there. Geomancers, those who know the desires of the spirits and ancestors, dragons, blah, 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 are associated with. Ooh, this one I don't know. I'm not concerned about this too much. You can look it up. Hold on, I'll look it up right now. It'll take me 2 seconds. I don't teach, like, this is about the smaller religions, and I tend not to get too buried into that. What is it associated with? Is it soil, rock, sand? Wouldn't that go along with, This is Africa, Europe, for the Chinese art, is it Feng Shui? No, it's not. Or is it Feng Shui? It's supposed to be that. I don't like this question. I'm not going to use it. Never mind. The teachings of Lao Tzu form the tenets of. Anyone know? It's not Confucianism, because that's Confucius. It's definitely not Hinduism. Islam. No, of course it's Taoism. Dear God. That one should be obvious just by process of elimination. Confucius for Confucianism. Hinduism. Well, you should know there's no actual prophet. We just went over that. There's no prophet for that. All right. The Confucian classics were the 13 texts that were the focus of education for 2,000 years in what country? China. Confucius was China. Yeah. Under Chinese communist rule, Confucianism has banned and suppressed and limited to areas with Han minority populations. Been returned to. Confucianism. I want to say that some of the beliefs of Confucianism, which are also put a stress on society, but not necessarily merit. See, I have a problem with this. Ooh, hold on. See, this is a problem. I don't normally do these questions. These come from the Blee Book. Oh, you can suffer through and wait for me a second. Just a couple I gotta look up, because I hadn't thought about this much. Okay, recently they're reviving it. So is this about modern times? Oh, yeah. Under communist rule, Yeah, recently they're reviving it, so I'm going to go with that, right? That's recent. That's only happened in the last few years, so that's been a new thing. That's why I don't know much about it. So been returned to after the colonial period? No, that's not. That's after the colonial period. Has been banned. Has been limited to areas. I might rephrase these answers to just note that they have returned to these ideas. I'll just leave it at that. So I'll revise these. All right. The Jews of Central Europe are known as Ashkenazi. Sephardic are Mediterranean. Those are like Southern Europe and the Mediterranean area. Ashkenazi are that's the typical Jewish people here that came to America came from Europe, and they're Ashkenazi. Zionism is the belief in Israel as a homeland. That was previous to Israel having existed. The diaspora of Jewish people resulted from. That's when they were forced out of the area. Roman destruction. That goes back to the early time period. The diaspora is when Jewish people were forced out of Israel, going back roughly 2,000 years. So it's going back a ways. That's what that refers to. The ideology of Zionism has as its goal, I just mentioned this, the merger of Judaism with other religions, no. Merger of the three modern divisions, no. Homeland, yes. Okay? The largest constituency of Christianity is, well, in the world, Roman Catholic. In America, that's a good question. It was Protestant, but it's changing a little bit. We're getting more immigrants, but Roman Catholic in the world. Half of all Christians are Roman Catholic. The African country where a major cluster of Eastern Orthodox churches survive. African country. This would be the Coptic in Ethiopia, right? This is the Coptic, but I didn't know that was Eastern Orthodox. But that makes sense. You have some Coptic Christians in Ethiopia, I know that. The rise of secularism and the decline of religious membership. Oh, this tends to go along with countries that are more developed, right? So a rise, if I don't care if I change this or whatever. But what if I change this to countries? Always go with the most developed area. Because what happens is as countries develop, more and more of their time is spent that's secular, and their attachment to a church declines. And as a result, we would say rise in secularism. The answer here is Europe, but just know how I could change it. All right? What country has, we only got a couple more slides here. What country has the largest number of practicing Orthodox Jewish people? Oh, okay. It's definitely Israel. Israel has a higher Orthodox population than America does. Not by a lot, but it does. Remember, America and Israel are the two big ones. Maybe I would take it. I could take America out of there, which would make it even easier. You should know that America and Israel are the two top countries. They're almost about even, but I believe Israel is now pulling ahead. What country has the highest number of people of Jewish heritage? Okay, careful here. Now, this is an interesting thing because you have a lot of people here in America who may not be practicing in the faith, but say I said heritage, right? And that might mean that they have some ancestry that is Jewish, and that's bigger in America. You have a lot of people, and that's also the issue with America too, is that as any small minority in America, trying to marry someone of your same group can be difficult when you're a minority group in a country that's vastly different. That's true of all ethnic groups in America. Whether you're Germans, which at one time were very big, most people of German ancestry in America have got it watered down. There are a variety of things. There are a lot of people that might have Jewish heritage, but it's a smaller degree and they are not practicing the faith that's not part of their background. Which country has the largest number of practicing Christians of these countries? So think population and percentages. Practicing Christians. Mexico, gonna be up there. It's a big country, 120 million people. France, gonna be more secular, more developed, less practicing Christians, right? Nigeria, big country, but it's only half Christian, right? Half of it's Muslims in the north. Is it really twice the population of Mexico? I'm thinking not quite yet. I'm guessing, I might make this more obvious, though. I don't like Nigeria and Mexico are a little too close to each other. I'm still going to guess that Mexico is ahead of Nigeria. I might change Nigeria for another country that's more mixed, like Sudan before it broke apart, right? Sudan is not a big population. Nigeria is 1 in 6 Africans is Nigeria. That's the biggest population in Africa. Sudan doesn't have anywhere near their population. When it was Sudan, it was half Christian, or even less. So it would definitely be below Mexico. Brazil, Brazil's population. Brazil's not higher than Mexico, is it? Let me take a look. Brazil, population. Oh, wait a minute. 200 million. That does it. Yep, it's Brazil. I will try and be less. I'm not trying to trick you. Maybe I should do it where I should choose countries where the population is like within 1 million of each other. And just scare that. Yeah, Mexico's only 120 million. Brazil has the highest population outside of the United States in the Americas. All right, sorry. Okay, so it's Brazil. Little bit of a tough question there, even for me. Which country has the largest number of Muslims? Okay, India might only have 15% Muslims, but 15% of India is 15% of 1.2 billion. In other words, the answer is India. Not many countries none of those countries are over 150 million people. Which country has the largest number of Buddhists? China, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam. Okay, it's going to be China. Because again, China's 1.2 billion. I think half of all Buddhists are Chinese in the world. Outside of India, which country has the highest number of Hindus? That's a good question. All right, hold on. I'm going to give you a clue here. It's an ethnic religion. So which countries, given that's an ethnic religion, and ethnic religions tend to be in the same spot, what country would you think is having lots of Hindus? Yes. Right, a country right next to it, like Nepal. Right. Not United Arab Emirates. God, if any of you said United Arab Emirates, I'd have to smack you. Suriname, not bad guess, but it's a tiny country, right? And it's far away. Some of them did go there as guest workers. America, not a bad guess, but we don't have that many immigrants from India. And, like, in other words, Nepal is going to outnumber America. All right. England, not a bad guess because they've gone there. Nepal is the answer. Which country has the highest number of Protestant Christians? No, these questions are not that bad. Mexico, Germany. Mexico, Catholics. Germany is half and half, but Germany doesn't have that many people. Then you've got Russia, Eastern Orthodox is not Protestant. Sweden, okay, and then we have America. America is 300 million people. I think we're like the 4th or 5th largest country in the world, and we're around like 45% Protestant. In other words, it's basically 140 million or so. I'm ballparking it. 130, 140 million. 130, 140 million is more than any of those countries. So there you go. America, up until recently, America was mostly Protestant as Christians. I'm not sure if Catholics have overtaken that because of Mexican immigration. I have to double check that. In the early spread of Christianity, missionaries traveled roads and went from larger town to larger town. What's that an example of? That they went to large cities first, hierarchical, and then it spread from there, yes. The diaspora of Jewish people as a result of, God, if I had both these questions, as a persecution from Romans is similar. I don't like this question. This was a Deblee question, wasn't it? Is similar to the persecution. Oh, no. Is similar to I should rephrase this. is similar to the persecution of Jewish people in the early to mid 20th century, in that at both times Jewish people migrated to Europe? No. Hope you don't. I hope you know that. That's when they were leaving Europe. Jewish people fled to Israel during both events? No. During one, they were fleeing Israel. Both events caused their religion to diffuse contagiously? No. They don't convert. It caused relocation diffusion. Yes. So D.